Imagine you're scrolling online, totally content, when suddenly, an ad for a sugary snack or a fancy gadget pops up. You weren't hungry, you didn't need a gadget, but a little voice inside you whispers, maybe I do? What if I told you that little voice isn't just your brain making a logical decision? It's often the result of something far more subtle at play, a masterful emotional maneuver designed specifically to bypass your rational thought. This isn't about what you think you want, it's about what you're being made to feel. For years, we've thought of advertising as simply presenting a product and its features. Buy this car, it's fuel efficient, or try this detergent, it gets clothes cleaner. But that's just the surface. The real magic, the true power of advertising, lies deeper. It's not about the car's mileage, but the freedom it promises. It's not about the detergent's stain-fighting power, but the peace of mind of a happy, clean family. Ads aren't just selling products, they're selling us feelings. And those feelings have a hidden cost. So, grab a coffee, metaphorically speaking, because today we're going to chat like friends about something really important that affects us every single day. We're going to pull back the curtain on how ads really work, not just what they show us, but how they sneak into our minds and tug at our heartstrings. We'll explore the sophisticated ways advertisers tap into our deepest desires, fears, and hopes. By the end of this, you'll be able to spot these emotional hijacking techniques and make choices that truly align with your values, not theirs. Before we dive into how ads use emotions, let's quickly define what emotions are. Think of emotions as powerful internal signals, our brain's way of telling us something important. They're not just fleeting feelings, they're biological responses to stimuli, driving our actions and decisions, often unconsciously. Joy, sadness, fear, anger, surprise, disgust, these are universal. But beyond these basic ones, we experience complex emotions like desire, belonging, hope, and anxiety. Advertisers are masters at identifying these signals and then crafting messages to trigger them. The goal of every good ad isn't just to be seen or heard, it's to create what we call emotional resonance. This means the ad taps into an emotion or belief already present within you, making it feel deeply personal and relevant. It's like a tuning fork vibrating at the same frequency as your inner self. When an ad achieves resonance, it doesn't feel like an ad anymore. It feels like a moment of connection, a solution to an unspoken problem, or an affirmation of who you want to be. This connection is where the hijacking truly begins. Let's start with aspirational advertising. This is when ads sell you a dream, a lifestyle, or a better version of yourself, rather than just the product itself. Think about luxury car commercials, they rarely focus on engine specs. Instead, they show beautiful people, stunning landscapes, and a feeling of success and freedom. The message isn't buy this car, it's buy this life. You're not just buying transportation, you're buying status, adventure, and the feeling of having made it. It taps into our desire for self-improvement and recognition. Here's a small drama we all experience. You have a perfectly good phone, but then an ad for the newest, most advanced model appears. It highlights not just features, but the sense of being left behind, less capable, or not quite in the loop if you don't upgrade. This ad plays on your desire for belonging and status. Suddenly, your old phone feels inadequate, not because it actually is, but because the ad has engineered that feeling. You feel the need to upgrade, even if you don't logically need to. Next, let's talk about fear-based marketing. This technique first creates or amplifies an anxiety, then presents its product as the solution. Think about ads for home security systems, showing a family looking worried about intruders, then suddenly safe and smiling once the system is installed. Or beauty product ads that highlight wrinkles or imperfections, making you feel insecure, then offering a cream as the fix. It's a classic problem-solution emotional loop. The ad creates the discomfort, then offers the relief, all through their product. Advertisers also love to tap into nostalgia and our sense of belonging. Think about food ads that show happy families gathered around a dinner table, or commercials for classic brands that play old jingles. These ads aren't just selling food or products, they're selling comfort, tradition, and the warmth of shared memories. They make you feel connected to a past you cherish or a community you desire to be part of. It's a powerful emotional lever, making us associate the product with positive feelings from our personal history or collective identity. Have you ever seen an ad that says, "Limited time offer," or "Only 3 left in stock"? This is urgency and scarcity marketing, designed to trigger the fear of missing out, or FOMO. It creates an artificial sense of immediate need, bypassing your logical evaluation. You might not need that item today, but the thought of losing out on a deal or a rare opportunity can make your brain panic a little. This emotional pressure makes you act impulsively, often buying things you would have easily passed on if given more time to think. Another common technique is social proof, which leverages our inherent desire to fit in and be accepted. Ads often feature celebrities, influencers, or real people raving about a product. The unspoken message is, if they use it, it must be good. And if you use it, you'll be like them. This taps into our need for belonging and validation. We're social creatures, and seeing others endorse something can make us feel like we're making a safe, popular, and socially acceptable choice, even if it's not truly what we want. Many of these techniques combine into what I call the emotional loop. An ad first establishes an emotional problem within you, perhaps a latent insecurity, a desire for status, or a fear. It then presents its product or service as the perfect emotional solution to alleviate that discomfort or fulfill that desire. You're not buying a gadget, you're buying peace of mind. You're not buying a diet shake, you're buying confidence. This loop creates a powerful psychological bind, making the purchase feel like a necessary step towards emotional well-being. Now, let's get a little scientific, but don't worry, it'll be simple. Advertisers use insights from neuromarketing. This isn't just guesswork, it's the study of how our brains respond to marketing stimuli. They use brain imaging and other tools to understand which colors, sounds, and messages trigger specific emotional and neurological responses. They're looking for the buy button in your brain. This allows them to create ads that are incredibly precise in hitting those emotional triggers, often below the level of conscious awareness. You might not even realize your emotions are being played. A key concept here is the difference between implicit and explicit emotions. Explicit emotions are the ones you're aware of, that ad made me feel happy. Implicit emotions are subconscious, you don't even realize they're happening. Ads often aim for implicit emotional responses because they bypass your rational defenses. You might think you're making a logical choice, but an underlying, implicitly triggered emotion is doing the heavy lifting. This is why some ads, while seemingly nonsensical, stick with you and influence your decisions later. Humans are wired for stories. From ancient campfires to modern streaming, narratives capture our attention and emotions like nothing else. Advertisers know this. Instead of just listing features, they craft compelling stories around their products. These stories bypass our logical defenses, drawing us into a world where the product is the hero, the solution, or the key to happiness. When we identify with a character or a situation in an ad, our emotions become entangled, and the brand gains a powerful foothold in our minds and hearts. It's a subtle form of emotional capture. In the digital age, this emotional hijacking has become incredibly precise through micro-targeting. Based on your online behavior, what you search, what you click, what you watch, advertisers build detailed psychological profiles. They know your potential anxieties, your aspirations, even your political leanings. This allows them to serve you ads specifically crafted to trigger your unique emotional vulnerabilities. It's not a generic ad, it's a message designed just for you, hitting your specific emotional soft spots with startling accuracy. Here's where most people get it wrong. We believe we're rational consumers, making logical choices based on price, quality, and need. We think, "I'm not falling for those silly ads." But the reality is, much of this emotional manipulation happens beneath our conscious awareness. We attribute our desires to our own internal preferences, not to the carefully constructed emotional narratives we've been exposed to. The mistake is underestimating the power of these subtle emotional cues and believing we're immune. This misunderstanding has real consequences for our lives and finances. The most obvious hidden cost is financial. When ads successfully hijack your emotions, they lead to impulse buys. You see an ad that triggers a feeling of inadequacy, so you buy a new outfit. An ad promises happiness through a new gadget, so you splurge. These purchases aren't based on genuine need or careful budgeting, they're driven by a sudden, often fleeting emotional urge. Over time, these small emotional splurges add up, draining your savings, creating debt, and making it harder to reach your actual financial goals. It's a silent leak in your budget. Beyond money, there's a significant emotional cost. Ads often promise happiness, success, or belonging. But when you buy the product, the intense feeling often fades, leaving you with just the item and, sometimes, a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction. You expected a feeling, but got a thing. This can lead to a constant cycle of seeking the next purchase to chase that elusive emotional high, always feeling a little less than what the ads promised. It fosters comparison, inadequacy, and a persistent feeling that something is missing from your life. There's also a cognitive cost. Our brains are constantly processing information, and when a significant portion of that information is emotionally manipulative advertising, it takes a toll. Constantly trying to decipher genuine needs from engineered desires, resisting urges, or processing subliminal messages can lead to mental fatigue and decision paralysis. It's like having a constant low-level noise in your head, making it harder to focus on what truly matters to you. This constant battle against persuasive tactics can be exhausting. Perhaps the most profound hidden cost is how ads can subtly shift our life choices and priorities. If ads constantly present a glamorous vision of luxury, status, or a certain body type, we might unconsciously start prioritizing those external validations over personal growth, meaningful relationships, or experiences. Major decisions, like career paths, where to live, or even health choices, can be influenced by advertised ideals rather than our authentic desires. The question becomes, are these your goals, or goals implanted by relentless advertising? This might sound a bit overwhelming, but here's the turning point: awareness is power. You're not doomed to be a puppet of advertising. Once you understand how ads hijack your emotions, you can start to reclaim control. This isn't about avoiding ads entirely, that's almost impossible, but about developing emotional literacy in the face of them. It's about recognizing when an ad is trying to make you feel something, rather than just informing you about a product. Let's talk about how to build that awareness, step by step. The first step to reclaiming control is to identify the emotion an ad is trying to evoke. When you see an ad that makes you pause, ask yourself, what feeling is this trying to make me have? Is it trying to make me feel inadequate? Hopeful? Fearful? Part of a group? Take a conscious moment to label that emotion. For example, if it's a beauty product ad, is it making you feel insecure about your skin? Or if it's a travel ad, is it selling you the feeling of adventure and escape from a mundane life? Pinpoint the emotional trigger. Once you've identified the emotion, the next crucial step is to trace the source. Ask yourself, is this emotion coming from within me, a genuine need or desire? Or is it being projected onto me by the ad? For instance, if you suddenly crave a fancy coffee after seeing an ad, is it because you genuinely want that coffee, or because the ad associated it with warmth and productivity, and you're feeling a bit sluggish? This step helps you distinguish between authentic internal feelings and externally manipulated ones. This is perhaps the most practical step: pause before purchase. When an ad has successfully triggered an emotion and you feel an urge to buy, don't act immediately. Give yourself a cooling off period. Even 5 minutes can make a huge difference. During this pause, revisit the previous 2 steps. What emotion was triggered? Was it internal or external? This allows your rational brain to catch up and assess the true need and value. Many impulse buys are prevented simply by creating this small space between emotional trigger and action. Finally, apply a real-world test. Ask yourself, does this product truly deliver the emotion it promises in the ad, or can I find that feeling elsewhere, perhaps for free? For example, if an ad promises belonging through a new fashion item, ask if true belonging comes from clothes or from genuine connection. If it's freedom through a car, can you find freedom through nature walks or creative hobbies? This challenges the ad's narrative and helps you discover alternative, often more fulfilling, ways to satisfy your deeper emotional needs. By consistently practicing these steps, you're not just avoiding bad purchases, you're building emotional resilience against manipulative tactics. You're training your brain to become a more discerning consumer of information and feelings. This resilience extends beyond ads, too. It helps you recognize other forms of persuasion in daily life, empowering you to make decisions based on your authentic self, rather than being swayed by external pressures. It's a journey towards greater self-awareness and autonomy, freeing your mind and your wallet. When you consistently challenge these emotional hijackings, you start to live a life more aligned with your true values and desires. You're not buying a specific brand of happiness, you're cultivating genuine joy. You're not chasing an advertised dream, you're building your dream. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating. It's about moving from a reactive consumer to a proactive, intentional individual, making choices that truly contribute to your well-being and purpose, free from the constant noise of engineered desires. So, to recap our coffee chat, ads are masters of emotional hijacking, selling us feelings like status, belonging, and security, rather than just products. This leads to hidden costs, financially, emotionally, cognitively, and in our life choices. What most people get wrong is underestimating this power, believing they're immune. But by identifying the emotion, tracing its source, pausing before purchasing, and applying a real-world test, we can reclaim our power. It's about being aware, not just of what you see, but what you feel. Here's your simple strategy, your one actionable takeaway from our chat. The next time an ad makes you feel something strong, a sudden longing, a flicker of fear, or a sense of inadequacy, don't just dismiss it. Instead, take a deep breath and ask yourself this single question: am I buying this for a feeling or for a function? If the answer is primarily for a feeling, delve deeper. Is it a feeling you truly need, or one the ad has skillfully conjured? This one question can be a powerful shield against emotional hijacking. By asking feeling or function, you give yourself a vital moment of reflection. You interrupt the emotional hijack and bring your rational mind back into the driver's seat. It's not about becoming cynical or rejecting everything. It's about becoming more discerning, more self-aware, and more intentional with your choices and your resources. You have the power to reclaim your emotional autonomy, to spend your money on what truly brings you value and joy, and to live a life driven by your authentic desires, not by the carefully crafted narratives of advertisers.